Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. Today I'm in the glorious Lavender Bay over on the north side of Sydney, and it's a magnificent winter's day. As you can see, there's a gentle breeze, the sun's out, the water is flat, and the temperature is mild. Winter in Sydney, how beautiful is it? Anyway, what I want to do today is go for a walk and talk. I've got some time to myself at the moment, and I'll just go for a walk all the way around to the Luna Park there, as you can see at the northern pylon of the Harbour Bridge. And we'll go through and talk about a book summary that I've got here entitled Unlearn. The book is entitled Unlearn, and it's by an author named Barry O'Reilly. So it's another look at what we need to do as people to break free of our comfort zone and to try to experiment, to do things differently. Even though they've worked for you in the past, the author here suggests that we need to continually learn, relearn, unlearn, relearn, and just keep the cycle going. Because if you rest on your laurels, chances are that you're not going to continue to reap the success and to harvest the fruits of your labour. You need to keep on labouring, keep on moving, keep on growing, keep on developing. Because the author then talks about the process here, and he says that relearning is a process of experimentation to try new behaviours and take in new data, new information, and new perspectives. Because we're in a rapidly changing environment with people competing with us across the board in many, many areas, the author here reminds us that we need to keep on morphing, we need to keep on growing, changing, and being a moving target so that we can continue to, as I said before, do what we have to do in order to get what we need to get. Because in many cases, and you see it time and time again, that victory has the ability to defeat you. By being victorious, you're also sowing the seeds of your own defeat. Because as we said, winners are grinners, but the people who lose are the ones who do the deep thinking, do the harder work in order to try and gain the leverage. Hello, Mr. Train. So it's all about contemplating and learning and changing and using that leverage to give you some additional advantages, some additional perspectives to be able to achieve bigger and better outcomes in your future. The author then tells us that we never see the signs of an upcoming failure. We're never ready for it. Upcoming failures just pop up on us and catch us by surprise. So because we've got blind spots, the author says, we never get to see the signs of upcoming failures because of these blind spots. But there's a famous saying that I've used time and time again, that the future never ever presents itself unannounced. So how do we use this? How can we keep on changing? How can we keep on growing to enable us to be in the right place at the right time? The first formal point that comes out of this book from this wonderful author is where he talks about Serena Williams, the tennis player. You know who I'm talking about. Either you love her or you hate her. But at the end of the day, her results speak for themselves. So one of the secrets that Serena Williams has used throughout her training regime to enable her to be leading edge and stay at the top is that she's used a cycle of unlearning to break free of failures after successes. So regardless of how successful she is, Serena is always open and welcome to change, to doing things differently, to try and get an edge so that other people can't read her game. Because as I said, if you're a moving target, there's less chance of others being able to know what makes you tick, and you can alter and change and morph so that you become a chameleon that people can't see. And if they can't see it, if they don't know what your next move is, then that's one of the advantages and strengths that you have in your portfolio of tricks. And what they say is, what this author says, is that the only way to succeed is to change by unlearning. Unlearning what you know, so you can make room for new techniques, new skills, and new strengths. But this whole process is a mindset as well. And it needs humility, it needs courage, and it needs getting out of your comfort zone, because you need to try new things, new strategies, things that may not work initially, and it may be frustrating. Now, we've all been there. You know, once you learn a certain song, once you learn a dance, and you accept the routine, and you can do it automatically, it's hard to change and to break out of your comfort zone. But what this author is reminding us and telling us is that what worked yesterday, and this is especially more important in business and in sport, what worked for you yesterday and got you here may not work and may not get you to your ideal tomorrow. Everything has an expiration date. Use it or lose it. I remember years ago working with a fellow at Telstra, and he always used to say that regardless of how good things are, all good times are going to come to an end, and for that reason you need to be preparing and morphing yourself for the next opportunity. So the next formal point to come out of this book from this author is where the author says that what we need to do is to be humble and to let go of your past wins if you want to keep on winning. You can't just hold on to and keep on grasping and trying to lock onto your past wins, your trophy room, all of those past glories. I see a lot of people who even today are caught up in their past. They spend all their time living in their past, how good they were when they were young, how sexy they were, how well connected they were, blah, 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 blah. But if you want to keep on winning, if you want to keep on growing, you need to release your past. So the author tells us, because the world is continually changing, as I mentioned before as well, we need to continually change. The neural pathways that we have in our brain take a while to adjust to change. Now, just because you want to change and just because we need to change doesn't mean that change is going to be easy. The author here reminds us that the neural pathways that we have in our brain take a while to adopt and adapt to new circumstances, because our mind always loves defaulting to past thinking patterns. And that's why it's hard. That's why it's hard to change. It's hard to keep on improving and getting better, because we've got this default mechanism where the brain just wants to keep on defaulting back to what worked in the past and what was comfortable. But in order to break that cycle, we need to have a mindset of unlearning. So we need to stop doing it the way it has always been done before. So we need to write a vision of the best possible outcome first. So we need to, journal, as the author says. The importance of journaling is always critical to what we do. So we need to write our vision of the best possible outcome. And we need then to persist at doing what we're doing until we get the breakthrough. And it's hard. It's hard to persist when all the signals that you're getting are negative signals, where you're not feeling comfortable, where it's not bloody working all the time. Because as I said, the brain simply wants to revert back and to default back to the comfortable path. Here we go. Got Mr. Kookaburra here. How cute is he? Mr. Kookaburra. There you go, mate. So that's a key point. So the last point to come out of this book here is that in order to unlearn and to break things down and to improve, we need to break it down into smaller steps in order to make it stick. So the way we unlearn things is in small steps, and the way that we relearn things is in other small steps as well. So the point that the author talks about here, another point, is that you have about achieving your goals. So write down every idea. So break it down into small steps, as the author is saying. Break it down into small steps. And write down every idea you have about achieving the goals that you have without censorship. So don't try and censor what you're writing, is what the author is saying. Just write down all the ideas that you have to achieve the goals that you have in your journal without censorship, and start acting, start your action, and adjust along the way. So small steps, adjusting so that you're learning and unlearning the previous thing. And the more you do the new things, the more ingrained it gets in your brain, and then you're less likely to default back to that default setting, that comfort setting that the author talked about before. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm just walking around to Luna Park, and it was a wonderful book summary that we just went through, entitled Unlearn by Barry O'Reilly, where I've learned something new myself, because I thought that life, you can just keep on adding and adding and just incrementally getting better and better and better. But what the author is saying is that sometimes you just need to break down and eliminate. Now, you can't just do a renovation all the time. Sometimes you just need to destroy what you've had there before in order to make room and to enable a bigger and better development and outcome. And you see it with building and construction. You know, we're constantly knocking down buildings. We're constantly knocking down a 4-story building to build a 30-story building. And sometimes in our own lives, we need to be that brutal, that aggressive, to unlearn, to remove what worked for us in the past in order to make room for something new. As you can see, we've got the casino over there, a magnificent project. So let's finish up with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable. And hopefully we can take some lessons from today's book summary entitled Unlearn, and we can be the wind beneath our wings so that we can help each other get through the day, get through the moment, and enjoy what life has to give us. How many great memories I have from Luna Park. Looks like they're doing a bit of maintenance work here at the moment. Can't wait to come back here again with my granddaughter. This looks like it's a new ride. Oh, they must be putting up a new ride. Don't know what this is. Here you go. A new Big Dipper by the looks of it. How cool is that? Anyway, I remember the wild mouse. I've had a lot of fun on the wild mouse. But yeah, we'll chat again. Yasas. And we'll... Hopefully this day will be as good for each and every one of us. I'll just go to the end here and have a look at this catamaran. Dreaming. What a name. Take care, everybody. Yasas. Bye for now.